Ethan Klein's obsession with Hasan Piker, otherwise known as Hasanabi, is rooted in racial supremacy of Ethan Klein and his connection, his bias, his prejudice inherent in the conflict. Now, Ethan Klein has a partner who literally served in the IDF, and they both have family connected to the land of Israel, which makes it obviously a situation where if you were looking at it from a bird's eye point of view, they're not really thinking straight. Hasan Piker is looking at it through the lens of objective reality. He's noticing that every reputable human rights organization is saying that Israel is committing a genocide, and even though Ethan Klein will even play lip service to the fact that Israel is committing a genocide, he won't take this step further and say and admit that the reason why Israel is committing a genocide is because they never considered Palestinians to be equal human beings to begin with. In fact, Zionism in of itself is racism. So you cannot deny or rather reject a genocide and not look at the cause. You're looking at the symptom. The symptom is genocide. The cause of this genocide is the inherent racial supremacy of the people, the newcomers to the land, who believed that they were entitled to the land and saw fit to take over the land, ethnically cleanse the people of the indigenous people of the land where they've lived there for at least 4,000, 5,000 years, thousands of years before the establishment of the Israelite kingdoms. This is based on genealogical evidence. But even then, even if you were to disregard the genealogical weight regarding the Palestinians' connection to land, even then, you do not kick people out because you believe you have a genealogical ancestral connection to land. This is the inherent racist ideology of the Third Reich, of the Kristallnacht, where they were just destroying Jewish businesses because they didn't have the German connection to the land. This is inherent racist thinking, and this racist thought process was already inherent in Zionism prior to the establishment of Israel, prior to the establishment of before even World War II. Moshe Sharet in 1910s literally said that he does not consider sharing the land of Palestine with or Israel in this regard with the Arabs or the Palestinians, because obviously they didn't consider the dignity, the rights, the equality of the Palestinians living there. And people like Shane Rasman, who's the future first president of Israel, he said regarding the Palestinians of Arabs that there were hundreds of thousands of Negroes living in Palestine. Obviously, Zionism is living in the shadow of British Empire, of Western supremacist, white supremacist thinking, and so they saw the global South as inherently inferior. So Zionist thinking, inherent in Zionist thinking, is racist supremacy, which Ethan Klein, there's no doubts about it. Ethan Klein is a racist supremacist in my mind. Is you can just see the writings on the wall. You can see the writings on the wall, and you can make very educated conclusion that Ethan Klein sees his tribe, so-called tribe, as more superior to the Palestinians. This is why even a mild criticism of Israel as a state, even a consideration of international law with regards to people resisting against an occupying force, he considers that an affront to his own dignity, his own identity. Ethan Klein is attacking Hasanabi because he is a racist. I believe this very strongly, and I know this in my heart. Ethan Klein is a racist. And so as racists have this inherent fragility in the core of their identity, because all identity is made up, and especially those that believe in racial supremacy are made up. And so when that identity meets reality head on, they can either question this identity or they can strengthen it by reinforcing an us and them narrative. And this is what's come of it. Ethan Klein's whole project now is to try and smear Hasan, to try and build up more content, even as he's shedding subscribers. Ethan Klein's whole project is now to destroy any prominent anti-Zionists. And, let's be very clear here. Zionism, I used to be a two-state solutionist. I used to believe in Zionism. I used to believe the prospect of a two-state solution, well, for equality and justice. But Zionists never believed it in the first place. It's very clear to me, however, reading upon the history, reading upon what people are saying now, the actual leaders of Israel, Zionism is racism. You cannot be an anti-racist and be a Zionist at the same time. You cannot be a humanitarian and philanthropist and believe in Zionism at the same time. Zionism is racism. And anyone who believes in Zionism, I believe very strongly, is a racist. Equal to, similar to, not exactly the same as, but on the same wavelength as a National Socialist. Anyways, this short video, I want to make it clear that Ethan Klein is attacking Hasan Piker because there's an inherent fragility in his identity, how he's meeting reality, not seeing reality. The fact that all human rights organizations are saying that Israel committed genocide, it was an apartheid state, it's a racist state. Also, let's consider the fact that the leading genocide scholars of the world, Omar Borotov, Israeli Jew, he says that Israel is committing a genocide. Holocaust survivors like Heger Meyer 14 years ago said that Israel is much like the Nazi state. This is a Holocaust survivor and a Jewish person. Ethan Klein's attacking Hasan Piker because he knows reality is not in his favor, to Ethan Klein's favor, and he needs to attack the biggest force in the streaming world, who would influence people, who would educate people, and he wants to take him off that that ladder, so as to ensure that we're all floating around in this this kind of like anti-reality mass of the mainstream news and political reality. But we must realize the truth. We must learn the truth. We must educate ourselves. We must activate us, ourselves politically against this genocidal, disgusting nation. There should be only one state between the river and the sea, and this would require a lot of time, there's a lot to do in terms of the groundwork of ensuring that the racism of Zionism is understood and we shed it away as peacefully as possible. But it can as it exists right now is sinister. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. That'll be very much appreciated. Thank you.